I thought I would do a technical kind of read organ tech video on what I do with keys when I clean keys. It's not my favorite job. I look for not shortcuts, but expedient methods. So look, we have a key here, and hope the camera picks this up. Has the usual finger jam discoloration of gunk on the sides. This one I chose to do for the video because it has a deep stain, which I don't know what that is. So we'll see if that comes out. And this is just an ordinary celluloid key off of a turn-of-the-century parlor organ. So what we do first, I don't know if that was in the shot. This is kind of new to me. So what we do first, just mechanically with sandpaper, take the discoloration off the sides. So I think it's worth it to get that stuff off. The keys look so much better when when they're being played, that they don't have garbage stuck to the sides of them, because that's pretty gross. This is something this was a process that would have happened at the factory when the keys were new. They would clean up the saw cuts when they're cutting the individual keys apart. Normally I vacuum this off, but for the sake of the sound of the vacuum, I'll just do that. What I do is, here's a piece of 2000 grit sandpaper. Here's a little tub with some water and detergent in it, because I wet sand the key. So I moisten the sandpaper. I start at the little shelf that's underneath the key over the key lip. Do that first. That's a sort of a finishing rule. Is you work inside corners first, because that way you get the corner out of the way. So when you don't come back, you're not going to mar your larger surface by trying to take care of the little corner after that. So then quickly rub the key front, and it helps to go up and down. Your final polishing on these is going to be from side to side, so I like to make the last sanding marks be in the same orientation as the polishing, so you'll get the grains and wipe that off. These keys, they've sort of started to deteriorate at the edges, and by that I just mean that the edges have started to curl up a little bit. This key isn't severe. You can't see this on the camera. The keys are just a little raised at the corner. So as a leveling step, I just wet the paper again, lay it down on a flat surface, and what you're going to do is just you're going to gauge this back so that it has a flat surface again. This just wears down those raised corners. If this, in the severest cases, because the bigger the indent in the key is, the more like on a C note or a B note, a B key, where there's a very deep indent. So you may have to glue that down. And what I've found is, if you want to, let's kind of skip ahead and sort of show you this. So here's a B with the big notch, and the corner, if the corner is really lifted, celluloid being a thermoplastic will melt. So you can quickly touch this to a warm iron. That softens the celluloid, lays it back down. You have a flat corner again. The celluloid will have expanded out just a little bit from the original shape of the key. So you can just quickly dress the corner down with your file, and then you proceed to surface that key, gauge the key again on a flat plate to flatten the key down, and that's all you have to do for those. And if there's a really good separation there, you take and clamp the key, nice heavy clamp, with a nice wooden straight edge for a gauge, and you use the really thin super glue. Put the thin super glue, let it enter the space between the key top and the key stick by the capillary action, and then you clamp that until it's dry. A tip that I've found out is, don't use the super glue accelerant that instantly sets the super glue on celluloid, because in a day or two that key will start to discolor where you've gotten the accelerant onto the celluloid, and that's not a good thing. So just clamp it, and the super glue does eventually dry. So this key's now my D with the stain. This one's been gauged, so I can start now hand sanding the thing just to get the discoloration off because the celluloid's turned yellow. So we'll see what we can do here. And this is, you're watching this as it happens. If you're seeing it at all, you're seeing what actually devolved here. And, oh, this is really nice. That stain was just a stain, a surface stain, and didn't come off. So there we have the clean, flat key, the corners, slightly raised corners brought back down so that they're nice and smooth. Key front done, a little shelf underneath the thing. And I'm using a polish. Using a polish that comes from the car care paint department. This is called Turtle Wax Renew RX, or Renew Prescription Polishing Compound for professional results. So, clear coat safe, silicone free. So this particular product is nice because I can get it anywhere and I don't have to buy it by the gallon, which is the other clear coat polishes are very expensive if you get them in large containers. But this is under $10. The thing is, you don't want to use this on real ivory because it contains a little bit of mineral oil. Now the mineral oil evaporates in about a day or so, and it doesn't have any lasting bad effects on celluloid, and it makes the keys look really good, and it makes the polish work smooth by hand when you're just doing stuff by hand. So you see what I'm doing. I just put a little on a microfiber, tiny dot of polish, and I'm going back and forth. I'm using pretty good pressure. You can put it down on the bench, get up under that lip, and wipe that off, and the key front's done. And grab another dot of polish and just work the key. So just working the front part of the key back and forth. I'm not trying to work the key this way. Coupler button's there, so I'm just resting the key on the bench like that so that the coupler button doesn't make the key go to a crazy angle. Just want to keep it flat. You want to work out toward each corner. Work nice, just a few strokes. That's about it for the key head. Then I'll come back and I'll do a set of rubs on the tail. Then you want to do a few last strokes just in one direction. And be careful, never catch your cloth or anything under the ledge, under the overhang of the key, because you can snap them if they. That's awful. I have to replace this. And I don't know how good this looks on the camera, but there's a sharp polished key, cleaned, corners brought back down, ground flat, in other words, with 2000 grit, and wet sanded, and then polished. And so there's a finished piece. We'll see what that took. I don't think, even with my talking and my detour into showing how you would clamp a loose key top down, I don't think that really takes more than about 2 or 3 minutes of work per key once you get set up. So there's my first Reed Organ Tech video for MasonHamlinOrgans.com. Thanks for watching.